The Glorious GMMK featured in today's review is provided courtesy of Glorious PC Gaming Race. Mechanical keyboards have been huge in PC gaming for a number of years now. Most major PC accessory companies offer a number of options for gamers to choose from based on form factor and mechanical switch type. For anyone looking to get into mechanical keyboards, the options can seem a bit overwhelming. Do you want full size, compact, or 10 keyless? What type of switch will work best for your particular style? If these are some of the questions you have asked yourself while looking into mechanical keyboards, Glorious PC Gaming Race has an answer for you with its Glorious Modular Mechanical Keyboard. The GMMK is a fully modular keyboard that lets users easily swap out a number of different switch types to find an experience that works for them. You will still need to decide for yourself about that form factor business, but whichever you decide on, Glorious has a GMMK for you. Glorious was kind enough to send out a pre-built GMMK complete with brown switches for me to check out, and even for PC gaming vets, there is some functionality here you might find interesting. The GMMK comes in a nice two-tone black and white box with neat shiny glossy accents. An outline of the GMMK is dominant along with the name. Since there are a number of configurations the GMMK can come in, this glossy outline approach is brilliant to me. Along the top of the box is the list of features of your selected GMMK and a contents list. On the back, you will find a design statement for the GMMK along with measurements of your selected model and a complete list of tech specs. Inside, you will find the GMMK, detailed user's guide, switch swapping guide and polar, product brochure, info about Glorious PC Gaming Race, and finally, a sticker. The GMMK is rather unassuming by design with a wonderful minimalist approach to it. The brushed aluminum top screams, "I am here for one thing and one thing only, to play games." That doesn't mean the design is completely bland though. A wonderful beveled chrome edge runs along all four sides of the frame, providing a pleasing contrast to my model's all-black aesthetic. The escape key shows a bit of humor as Glorious as a brand buys into the PC Master Race concept. If you don't care for this particular version of the escape key, two replacements came bundled inside the box. I think I need to rock the Glorious key here, personally. Everything else just feels insulting. The keycaps present on my build use double-shot ABS injection, giving them a very solid and sturdy feel. Each character is cleanly cut and allows for the RGB lighting to shine through without issue. I also appreciate that secondary characters are lit, unlike those found on other brands. I would also like to take a second to appreciate the way the RGB lighting glows onto the bottoms of adjacent keys thanks to the open frame design. This look is extremely pleasing to me and has me seriously contemplating picking up a pack of Glorious's Aura keycaps to make the effect even more profound. After a month of use, the keycaps show little sign of fingerprints or smudges. Very impressive, as I specifically have been trying to get it dirty. Underneath each keycap on my review unit is a Gateron brown switch which provides a good tactile response when pressed. It has been a while since I have used a brown switch, and even though they aren't my preferred, they are solid performers. But hey, that's kind of the point of this entire keyboard. I can swap them at any time for something else more my style. If you need an idea of what options are available, Glorious offers a convenient switch kit that includes 14 different types of switches for you to try out before ordering a full 104-piece set. Ah yes, the white has my preferred level of clickiness. Pulling the existing switches requires some precise placement of the removal tool and force, so I have no concern about them falling out on their own. To round out the GMMK's design is a curved plastic bottom that houses the keycap removal tool and a wire channel that gives the braided cord 3 areas of escape. The cord is roughly 6 feet long and comes with a gold-plated in connector. I am also a fan of the included USB covering that will keep the connector clean while not in use or during transport. The traditional set of keyboard legs are also present, which gives the GMMK an optional 8-degree angle of incline. The entire frame has a good weight to it and is very sturdy. Thanks to the swappable nature of the switches, if any start to break or die for reasons, you can easily pop in a new one as long as the board underneath is still intact. Getting started with the GMMK was a bit rough for me at first, thanks to its full-height design. For almost a year now, I've been using a half-height keyboard, and going back resulted in some great misjudgments and travel distance between keys. After a day of reacclimating, the experience on offer began to unfold. The pre-equipped brown switches proved suitable for any task I required, be it gaming or typing. Keystrokes provide a solid tactile feel, and once engaged, register on screen in a snap, making activation of an ability or ultimate in a sticky situation as reliable as you can hope for. To further put the GMMK to the test, I put it up against my #1 controller test game, Mega Man X4. The Windows 98 version of the classic title can be played purely on keyboard, and it was an experience that took me right back to the early 2000s. It's also pretty fun to show all these modern gaming devices running under Windows 98. But rather than call it good with the brown switches, I wanted to go the extra mile for all of you and get into the spirit of what the GMMK is all about. Swapping the switches for the ultimate personalized experience. So, I personally prefer clicky, lower pressure switches, so I have been a fan of white. But rather than swapping the entire board over to white switches, I wanted to try out something a little more unique. Instead, I swapped my more common FPS genre keys over to white switches, and left the remainder of the board on brown. With this setup, keys that are used in-game would move easier than ones not used, and allowed for me to have an additional sense for when my fingers were on the proper keys. It worked out far better than I thought it would, to be honest, and I loved using it in-game. Unfortunately for me, this makes typing feel inconsistent, so I'm gonna have to swap the whole board over to white or back to brown if I want to be able to do more than just game. Still, it was a neat experience and shows what the GMMK can do for enthusiasts and newcomers alike. Another great thing about the GMMK is its ability to run without any additional software. All preset RGB lighting modes can be set using a hotkey function. I do recommend installing the software at least once though, as it will let you change the GMMK's polling rate up to 1000 Hz instead of the default 125. All of my experience has been based on this faster polling. Custom RGB lighting and additional macro keys can also be set here. Thankfully the software isn't obtrusive, so it isn't the worst thing to have installed on your system. Up until this point, I hope I have shown that the GMMK is a top-tier offering, because it pretty much is. The only thing I have come to dislike about the keyboard comes down to personal preference and nitpicking. I wish there was a dedicated set of media buttons instead of needing to use a function key. I wish the cap lock, scroll lock, and num lock were properly labeled. I also wish the underside had a slot for the switch removal tool just like the keycap tool. Lastly, the font on some of the keys is a bit confusing. Like I said, nitpicky. I think my only real complaint about my time with the GMMK was figuring out which software to download from Glorious's site. They have a number of different options and want you to get the one based on your serial number. Well, none started similar to my serial number, so I took a chance with the other option, and it seems to have worked out. For newcomers and enthusiasts alike, there is a lot to like about the glorious PC gaming race GMMK. For mechanical keyboard noobs, the GMMK provides a great way to try out a variety of switch types and find your preferred fit without needing to shell out for entirely new models. For the seasoned PC vet, the customization of individual switches depending on your tastes and preferences without having to perform surgery on the keyboard can't be beat. Best yet, the pre-built GMMK options available come in at a reasonable $110 for top-tier performance compared to $150 upward for top offerings from other brands. Even if you think you might never use the functionality the GMMK offers on a normal basis, it still rocks to know that if a key starts to die, it can easily be swapped without needing to replace the entire board. There is seriously a lot to love about the GMMK, so check it out! Thank you so much for making it to the end of today's review. The Glorious GMMK is such a fascinating keyboard, and one I can see a lot of people out there just absolutely falling in love with thanks to all of its customization options that are available. I'll tell you, when I had it set to white and brown switches, it was seriously a top-notch experience. Unfortunately for me, I just couldn't do gaming and typing with it set up like that, so I actually just switched it all back over to brown. But I want to take this opportunity to thank Glorious PC Gaming Race for sending this over once again. It has been a fun month getting to mess around with the GMMK and the Model O's. If you haven't checked out my review on the Model O, be sure to do so in this little corner here. But it's really time to call it there. I think we have seen enough. So as always, thank you all so much again for watching. This channel would not be anywhere near as successful if it wasn't for all of you taking the time out of your day to come and watch these videos. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that sub button, that dislike button, just depending on how much you like today's review. And as always, if you'd like to provide further support to the channel to bring more content just like this to you, you can always check out that join button here on YouTube or my Patreon link in the bottom right hand corner of the screen or in the description. As always, I am just so grateful for your consideration, and thank you to each and every one of you who have already done so. It has helped out so much in keeping this channel going. I can never express enough thanks to all of you for that. Alright, but let's get out of here. Until next time, stay awesome, and we will see you all back next video.